Welcome back to Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. In this episode, I think it is time to go pay a visit to Greybor, and we should go out and hunt a dragon. That would also, or will also, give us access to the storyteller. So it is a good move. I don't know what's going on with Zethlorian. I think he bugged out when I clicked the camp button earlier.
How can I help you?
We already met in Kenabres, didn't we?
Yes, I had a contract to assassinate a rather overconfident demon named Kylus there. I guess that counts as participation in the siege of Kenabres. Not that my employer had any interest in the actual outcome of the battle. Come to think of it, the information my client provided me with was almost suspiciously accurate. They seemed to be aware both of the impending attack on Kenabres and of the fact that Kylus was going to be there.
So what could you tell me about yourself?
Don't you remember our last meeting?
I do.
The name is Greybor. I'm an assassin for hire. But I suspect you're not here for small talk. Are you in need of my services?
You tried to kill that huge demon, Darazand, at the Battle of Dresden, but you failed. What happened?
Yes, that was a failure. It was supposed to be a clean job. An anonymous client, a worthy target, a substantial fee. But the client insisted that I use an enchanted dagger they provided. I was assured that a single hit would be enough to finish the job, but it didn't work as expected. It was a serious blow to my reputation. And my reputation is everything to me.
Well, whether or not you manage to do that, I want to hire you for a dragon hunt.
A large adult female? The one that's been snatching people and carrying them off? I've heard about her. That's an impressive target. I can take this job, but only if we do it soon. I'm expecting a new assignment from my regular client, and I'll have to leave as soon as I have the orders. And of course, you should know that this dragon will not come cheaply. 2,500 gold, paid in advance.
That seems reasonable.
Excellent. Let's get down to business. It's no easy thing to take down a dragon when you don't have wings, so you'll need to follow my lead. The best thing would be to catch her by surprise in her lair, but we need to find it first. Of course, since she doesn't leave tracks, that might be tricky, but I think I have a solution. We need to go west of Dresden, to the Grimwood Forest. The dragon's been seen there often. According to the scouts, this is likely because there's still some wild game left in those parts. We'll set up an ambush there. I hope I can rely on your honesty. I understand that on our way to the dragon, there may be other fights or places we need to visit for various reasons. That's to be expected. However, should I see that you are deliberately delaying the contract, or that you're dragging me off to assault some demon citadel instead of going after the dragon, we will have to revise the terms of our agreement.
Yes. Okay, so Greybor comes in at level 9, and I need to level him up. He's not exactly the best companion, to be honest. But he will do in lieu of Sila for the time being. He has a speed of 20. If I give him a full plate plus 2, he can't wear that. What about the mithril breastplate? we'll leave him with that. As for weapons, I don't think we have much we can offer him in that regards. Robe. Here, Wally, have this robe of inevitability. It is probably heretical. Okay, let's level him up. We'll continue on the Slayer path. Athletics, mobility, and stealth. We want combat style. 2-weapon combat and greater 2-weapon fighting. Then we want to go to Ranger and Freebooter. And we'll give him outflank here. And that should be him leveled up decently enough for now. I don't have any hand axes lying around, I only have throwing axes. Yeah, we should switch to this one. Notice the critical hit threat range there, 15 to 20. In addition to that, when the wielder of this +2 weapon is paralyzed, staggered, stunned, petrified, or entangled, they suffer the weapon's damage and immediately remove such effect. So, yep. No more lethal squall, even though it does do higher damage in the pure numbers, but the Gravesinger will crit more often and thus do more damage in the long run. But we need to take Greybor with us on this adventure, so that means we're leaving Sela behind. If I click that, that takes me up to the Citadel, or the Keep. Which means we have a shorter distance to walk to leave the city. I'll just drag him to the correct spot. Now, we're losing an animal companion on this, so we have to be a bit careful here. Also, he also has mythic levels, which I completely forgot. Defensive study. Two-weapon fighting mythic. And ever ready. I will probably respec him at some point. And where did you say we needed to go? Grimwood Forest. Where the heck is that? Oh boy, it's all the way over there. Why did that happen? That did quite a bit of damage. Well, Greybor. didn't really expect that to happen.
I will lend you my aid.
Is there anything of interest in this location? Nope. Is that the dragon again? Indeed it is. Have another one of these then. It's okay if we don't get to haste Greyhound.
This will hurt.
Good. She doesn't seem to appreciate us. Pretty sure there's nothing here either, but... Can't turn down the chance for loot. You see, if you're not familiar with my channel, it would be devastating for my reputation if I didn't live up to the Caledon's Cleaning Service Incorporated. So it's very important that I do check every crook and nanny for loot. I think we'll... yeah, I need to manage the crusade. Yeah, so when we get back to Dresden, we'll have to deal with that. A conflict between two officers has led to a defeat in a skirmish with demons. One of the officers, a charming young noble, tried saving the lives of the soldiers. The other, a cynical veteran mercenary, acted based on the principle that victory is all that matters. The soldiers from each unit blamed the other unit's officer for the defeat. How should the investigators arbitrate the guilty parties? No. Why would I punish the noble? We're going to reconcile them. Social is convinced that both officers have something to learn from each other. Following his advice, the investigators sent out the two of them on a mission together. They came back as good comrades in arms. Their units have been performing in harmony ever since, and the fame of the two great commanders has been drawing in new recruits. We have more degrees. We're going to do these 2 degrees here to rank up. As for relics, they are largely irrelevant. Currently, that is. I might also move the armies here, to be honest. You stay where you are. I don't particularly want sorcerers. why'd you go do that for? $400 daily income of finance points. That's nice. I think that's about what we can explore and find down here. So this will be the Southern Defense Army 1. Why is there... Okay. Guess this will be the Dresden Defense Army. That is quite the army, actually. I don't think so. That gives us another fortress and a level up. Divine Magic. We found 7,000 finance points. Nice. Enemy army. I didn't even know we were under attack. And I guess this will be the Western Defense Army 1. Camp on the Ferry. What a weird name. Inn, supply center. We need more of this. Watchtower, and also a citadel here. Can we do this yet? No, another decree is being enacted for this stat. Okay, that was the Crusade management out of the way. Then we can strike camp, since Greybor is getting tired. I also need to remember to rest in Dresden to get rid of the abyssal corruption. We don't have much though. There's Blackwater. This is where he wants us to set up an ambush. We'll have a look around the entire area before we do that though. Okay, looking good. Greybor meticulously scans the surrounding area and appears pleased with the results. The talon-like hooks of several collapsible spikes protrude from his pack. The dwarf produces a small, tightly wrapped bundle from his pocket, and its pungent smell fills your nostrils. Come over here. This is where we'll set up an ambush for the dragon. Let's light as many fires as we can so she thinks there's a whole caravan staying here overnight. Can be sure she won't resist such easy prey. What is that stench? It's frog's eye, some herb from Magnimar, used as seasoning by the Varisians. I'm not sure they can even eat anything without it. The heat of the fire will cause the smell to rise up into the air, where the wind will carry it far and wide. The dragon will surely catch our scent and take interest. Dragons have a heightened sense of smell, and their sense of taste is even more discerning. The beast won't be able to resist the chance to try some strange new kind of meat. Very well, let's get started then. The dwarf nods his approval. He is calm and composed as he readies himself for battle, but his eyes shine with excitement. This is going to be a fine ambush. I can see your commander. Get ready to fight. Sound the alarm.
Yet another obstacle.
That was easy. I thought her lair was over in the other side of the wound, nearer to Dresden. The ground is covered in fresh dragon blood and deep claw marks. The winged silhouette soars high up into the night sky and heads east. Yeah, that direction, yeah. Doubtless toward her lair. The assassin gives the commander a thumbs up and throws his pack over his shoulder. The ambush was a success. Serious loss of blood, though not fatal, causes the dragon's heart to compensate by contracting more rapidly in order to oxygenate the muscles. This makes it more difficult for her to breathe and weakens her wing capacity. The lack of oxygen then leads to convulsive seizures that force the dragon to descend for short rests. It takes her the entire night to travel the distance she could normally cover in a few hours. Yeah, it's all the way over there. Poof. I have no idea if this... Yeah, this is the path. Dark splotches of dried blood are visible on the ground. Its foul, pungent scent awakens the predatory instinct of the hunt. Everything nearby is spattered in blood as if a battle took place here or someone slaughtered a herd of goats. Yet this blood belongs to neither human nor goat. Its sulphurous odor indicates that this is the blood of a rare fire-breathing dragon. Injured and exhausted, the fleeing dragon stopped here to rest. The commander decides to personally examine the trail to impress the assassin. No, we'll ask him for advice here. The dwarf points confidently to the south. The dragon's lair is hidden somewhere among the mountain gorges. The commander and his followers are traversing the mountains, trying to track down the female woundworm that has lately been wreaking havoc around Dresden. The dwarf leading the party approaches the edge of the cliff and points down to the ruins of a tower built upon the rock 300 feet below. Its very existence raises a number of questions. Who would dare to build a tower here so close to the demons? Why would they erect it here, at the bottom of a canyon? An expert analysis of the tower's structure provides the answers. Numerous features in its design indicate that the building dates back to the golden age of the Aslanti Empire. It is several times older than the Worldwound and was originally constructed on the top of a mountain before the cataclysm changed everything. The tectonic plates shifted, causing the tower to sink to the bottom of a newly formed canyon, and the mountains rose up around it like the jaws of a predator, ready to snap shut and bury it beneath the rock forever. The ancient ruins have been abandoned for ages, barely visible amidst the steep cliffs. The tower would have remained hidden had the commander's party not discovered it by following the trail of blood. The dwarf signals that it is time to descend. The alpine path leading to the tower soon splits into two directions. On the left is a rocky ledge, dangerously narrow and visibly unstable. On the right is a broad path covered in overgrown brambles and thickets. There are many poisonous plants in these mountains, some of which are so dangerous that merely touching them can lead to numerous adverse reactions. These include, but are not limited to, migraines, disorientation, vomiting, hearing and vision loss, paralysis and even death. The commander assesses the risks and chooses the path overgrown with suspicious bushes to the right. The commander decides to take the path to the right, which leads through thick foliage and overgrown bushes. It is most likely full of dangerous vegetation and possibly even carnivorous plants. These plants are difficult to distinguish from their less hazardous counterparts, and only a skilled botanist or a wild animal native to the area might know which specimens pose no threat to humans, and which ones must be avoided at all costs. The commander orders the most observant member of the party to lead the others through the thicket by following the tracks left behind by local mountain cats. Actually, we're going to do the other one. Orders the most knowledgeable member of the party to lead the way. They will be able to recognize the poisonous plants and warn the others. Lan's extensive botanical knowledge allows the party to get past the poisonous bushes without touching the blood-sucking vines that obstruct the path. The path comes to an abrupt end. A recent rock slide has destroyed this section of the trail, leaving behind only a few footholds for those brave enough to attempt the crossing. The commander's allies hastily tie themselves together with rope, hoping to prevent a fall if anyone loses their footing. The dwarf silently indicates his mountaineering equipment. If they choose to climb down the mountain cliff, they will be able to get back onto the path and avoid the dangers ahead. The commander orders the most agile of his companions to carefully lead the party down the slope using the ledges as footholds. The commander and the companions descend lower and lower, leaping from one ledge to another. Thanks to his combat expertise and presence of mind, Woljif does not panic or make a single mistake. He skillfully leads his followers across the treacherous terrain, and eventually they reach a secure rock ledge. With a cry of warning, the dwarf points to the sky. Giant birds of prey circle ominously overhead. Their beak morphology indicates their carnivorous nature, and their large size suggests they consider those climbing down the cliff to be prospective prey. It is common for them to fling their quarry against the cliffs and then feed on the carcasses. With ear-piercing shrieks, they swoop into formation and dive down to attack. The commander gives the order to scare off the birds. Lan pulls out a knife and runs the blade over the stones. Metal makes a grating sound, and the birds fly away in fright. It is the same sound that their sworn enemies, mountain cats, make when they sharpen their hard claws on the rocks. The party overcomes every obstacle and finally descends to the ruined tower. The mountain has been conquered, and no one has fallen victim to its treachery. Now they secretly approach the unsuspecting dragon, stealthily making their way through the surrounding rocks. After leading them to the tower, the dwarf gives his newfound allies a nod of respect and signals for caution. Let's try to get as close as we can to the dragon without making any noise, and then we'll take it by surprise. Greybor whispers approvingly. We've crept up on the toothy old lizard without her noticing us. It is a pleasure to work with real professionals. Let us get a little closer so we can attack when she least expects it. The dragon looms over an old elf, her vicious teeth bared in an angry snarl. You recognize his face. It's the storyteller. I know you're in league with those little parasites who wounded me. They sent you to spy on me. They thought I wouldn't crave the crunch of your old bones. Ha! They were wrong. I've always had a special liking for the taste of elven flesh. But I do love to play with my food. What can you offer me in exchange for your pathetic life? Perhaps I won't kill you if you manage to impress me. The storyteller is pale as a ghost, but he stands strong and doesn't lose his nerve, though his voice trembles slightly as he speaks. A story. Stories are all I have, but some of them are priceless, some more valuable than any treasure. This I can offer you in payment. Stay quiet and wait for the right moment to attack. I have a peculiar item on me. Its previous owner was quite sinister, so I think you'll appreciate this story. The storyteller produces a small bundle from his bag and opens it to reveal a golden signet ring. As he holds it up in his shaking hands, the old man's voice suddenly changes. His tone grows shrill and angry, taking on an exaggerated quality as if doing a mocking imitation of someone else. Everything in this throne room is so cheap and vulgar. Jamandi Aldori knows nothing about luxury. Another sorry provincial excuse for an aristocrat. And yet I must still bow my head and smile politely at these sword-wagging half-wits. These poor souls have never known anything more luxurious in their life than this rural parody of a palace. I must convince them that I am at their mercy. Soon they will all beg me for mercy, but I'll see that they're given none, or my name isn't Tartuccio. That is a Pathfinder Kingmaker reference there. And look at these foolish idiots who want to become a baron. What a parade of louts. A whining, bumbling boor, more beard than face, who drones on and on. An insolent, unwashed wench carrying around a dull gardening tool as her weapon of choice. An undead sadist carrying an endless amount of emotional baggage from her childhood. She's actually all right, to be fair. But as for the infuriating halfling who never shuts up... How I long to take that little journal of hers and shove it into her blabbering mouth so she'll choke on it and be quiet. A worthless creature who clings like a limpet to someone far more important. My greatest rival. A dark horse. Well, consider this entire performance dedicated to you. I have to admit that I wasn't the biggest fan of Lindsay in Pathfinder Kingmaker. She was a little bit grating on the nerves. Although, yeah, this might be a bit excessive, but yeah. The old breath is out of elf, and his voice diminishing becomes discerned to harder. Yes. Or alternatively, the old elf is out of breath, and his diminishing voice becomes harder to discern. Continue to wait for the right moment. This night will be long and bloody. The mercenaries will storm the palace and kill this useless rabble, hopefully starting with all my rivals. But they won't touch me, for I possess a token of immunity, a ring with King Irovetti's personal coat of arms. After all, it is I who must lead the expedition into the stolen lands, not for stupid titles or glory. Oh no, ha! Imagine becoming that fool Jamandi's bootlicker until the end of your life. No, my precious, witless little soldiers will procure something a lot more valuable than a barony in the middle of nowhere. Something precious is hidden in the stolen lands. A wooden sword created by someone who was truly powerful. Nothing like the pathetic scraps of metal worn by these pompous Aldori simpletons. No, it is a true instrument of fate. It is a pity I don't know how to use it myself, but King Irovetti will pay me an obscene amount of money for it. Fortune enough for an eternity of endless debauchery. Not to mention the little bonus he'll give me for Jamandi's venture collapsing like a house of cards. Merely a trifle, really. Barely buys you a palace in Absalom. And then... oh, Callistria. This stinkpot with a sword has started flapping her jaws again. Why can't she just shut up? Her manners are worse than a kobold's. Be careful now, Tatuccio. Don't let anything slip about Jamandi. I hope this loudmouth gets stabbed tonight. The storyteller's voice grows louder and sharper. It's not like you're being kept prisoner. If you don't want to wait, you can always return to the mountains or whatever other place you crawled out from. I especially advise you to do so if you don't know who the Aldori Sword Lords are. The dragon keeps quiet. Finally she speaks, her voice loud and demanding. How interesting. What happened next? Greybor tenses, ready to spring. He wastes no words. She's thinking. She's distracted. Attack, now! Greybor, to battle! With a deadly silence more frightening than any battle cry, the dwarf drives his weapon deep into the dragon's side, just beneath the dragon's wing, where her scaled hide is weakest. The dragon lets out a deafening roar of pain. Through clenched teeth, Greybor gives a low chuckle. Sweet dreams. You can actually bypass the entire dragon fight? No. He just wounds her. As a matter of fact, he doesn't even wound her.
Simply business.
I don't know if that's strictly necessary, but... Wally, you can cast haste. It would be good to have it on them as well, but... Another orbital strike. Once I'm finished with you, I will pay a visit to your pathetic town and burn it to the ground. Dresden will burn. Don't let the dragon get off the ground. She'll set everything on fire.
You won't survive me.
There we go. Greybor looks with satisfaction at the surrounding carnage. That's a job well done. You can use her head to decorate your tent. I'm going back to Dresden. It's been a pleasure working with you. I think we should continue working together.
I'm ready to offer you my services. As you can guess, a full contract will be more expensive than a one-time job. I think 12,500 gold would be a fair price.
And I think your services are worth more than that, so I'm willing to double the price. Some of you may be questioning my decision here, but I have my reasons.
It is always a great pleasure to work with a client who can tell a professional from an amateur. It's rare these days to find someone who appreciates high-quality work and is willing to pay for what it's worth. I think this is the beginning of a long and productive partnership.
I agree. Besides, 25,000 isn't really that much. Half of the pair, we can get the other one from Arsino in Dresden.
It is finished.
Though this magical trap is now old and dysfunctional after centuries of disuse, it would once have irreversibly blinded any thief who gazed upon it. 28. This inscription once contained a spell of warning. When an intruder appeared, it would let out a chilling howl to raise the alarm. Fortunately, the enchantment has worn off with the passage of time, so your ears have been spared, for which I am eternally grateful. Oh, that is downstairs. Bracers of Abrupt Onslaught. That's quite good for Waldriff. But he already has stuff that gives him trickery, I think. Yeah, but that is profane. That is competence. Okay, so it will conflict with the ring. But the ring also gives perception, which frankly isn't that important for him, considering Lan has 30 of that. I'll revisit that later on. 30? Well then. I expect I'm going to have to reload this time. Apparently not. This inscription is written in an archaic Elven script. You recognize the words, Stranger's Home, I see you, and I implore Callistria. It appears to be some kind of protective spell against thieves, but it has lost its power over the years. Within the pedestal, a faint purple glow emanates from a crystal-shaped hole. Its edges are chipped and cracked, suggesting that whatever it contained has been forcibly removed. More Elven notes. I don't think there's anything useful up there.
I know what to do. This spell doesn't work like that.
Nope. Ah, okay. Oh, quick load then. Dimension door is useful, but sometimes it does leave you in some awkward situations. Have you found what I asked of you? Splendid. Let's get out of this place as soon as possible. All this smoke makes it difficult to breathe. We'll meet in Dresden. Interesting that all of the items to loot here is with the hand symbol instead of the regular mark things. Well, not all of it apparently. Demon blood. Now down here, the fight down here is actually equally as difficult as the dragon, if not more difficult.
Can't hide from me. Yet another obstacle.
As you can see, that thing has a lot of hit points, and I think there's 2 of them here. Yep. I hate it when that happens.
Begone, fiend!
So where is the other one? It is apparently there.
Simply business.
Cover me, all right?
You've crossed the wrong mongrel. Fall!
Let's try this way.
Hitting that thing is not exactly what I would
It's
say
your
is
time
easy.
to cease to exist.
I'm just having crappy rolls. There is another one, okay. There it is.
I will bring down the divine wrath!
can see how much damage these little plant thingies are able to soak up. Which is why I consider this to be a more difficult battle than the dragons. Or the dragon. This place is a bit difficult to navigate. Lesser kineticist rod. Not that that does us much good, since I'm not using any kineticists. Kineticist is a very powerful class, though. Didn't I take everything? That's weird. Usually it stops being able to... It stops being lootable, I suppose. But apparently not so here. Right, that looks to be about it. Which means we can head on back to Dresden. And we probably have to do some council interactions when we are there. I cannot teleport yet. That's a little bit silly, I think. We could visit the Shrine of Sacrilege, but I don't think I want to do that just yet. So let's go to the capital. Come on. Loading times are getting longer. Darren looks a little, the merest trifle, more serious than usual. Cal, we need to talk. Under strictest confidence, I am going to invite you to not a date. Yes, you heard me correctly, a not a date. If by some chance you imagine you see wine, cushions and treats laid out before you, you should know that it is merely an optical illusion. First, you give me roses that have nothing to do with courting me, then you run me a bath under the pretext of the commander needs to wash. And now this? Exactly. I am obviously not interested in you, I am making no attempts to impress you, and I am definitely not trying to demonstrate any affection for you. Don't you believe me? Darren looks at you, his eyes alight with sincerity. No. And don't ever propose anything like this ever again. Darren grits his teeth. How unexpected. Well, forget this conversation ever happened. I won't bother you anymore. He bows briefly and leaves. Commander, permission to report. Captain Harmattan salutes you. We are short on soldiers. Any elation from taking Dresden is long gone. We now face the harsh reality of a drawn-out war. What was sufficient for an expeditionary force won't cut it for a proper army that needs to hold the territories around Dresden and still advance forward. Now that we have dealt with the weary and replenished our officers' corps, we need some more troops. I suggest we write a letter to Mended and ask Her Majesty for a new draft. It will take some time, a long time to be perfectly honest, but it is the most reliable option we have. Mendev is already giving everything it can spare to this war. I say we ask our priests to be more active with their preaching in other lands. Let them inspire more people to volunteer. Our regular draft may not be enough. We have one permanently in effect, as it is. We should suggest that the Crown recruit all who lost everything in the attack on Canabras and other cities. Instead of meager state-issued meals for these orphans and homeless refugees, they will get army rations, a pair of boots, and a spear. It's not the best solution for them, and they won't be the best soldiers for us. Still, we'll have plenty of material to sift through and so forge into solid combatants. Yeah, you won't get far on sheer enthusiasm. Fortunately, we have good coin to dress it up. Everyone who is ready to fight for lofty ideals is already here. It is time to call on those who would fight for gold. Okay, let's have a look at the... That's a silly decree. Well... Not sure if it's silly, but... Ugh. None of these are particularly good. We'll go with Sila's here. Sila, send the preachers to inspire other volunteers. I'm glad you understand. The preachers will set off today. Thank you, Commander. I will report on the measures we implement and their results in due time. I'll call for the council to be reconvened if we encounter any further difficulties.
You've marched me to the bones today.
Yes. Commander, it is time for you to play a more prominent role in Mendev's politics. Fortunately, the ideal opportunity has just presented itself. A conflict is brewing in the capital. A clique of aristocrats displeased with the royal council is scheming against Her Majesty's loyal servants. It's the usual power struggle. Something of this sort occurs every couple of years in any civilized society. Your entrance on the political stage is long overdue. Given that your opinion in Mendev is outstandingly well respected, the Royal Council has decided to make use of it. They are expecting you to denounce publicly the nobles' attempts to challenge their rule. I suggest we publicly address Her Majesty and claim that we are being drawn into an intrigue. Let the Queen know that we are loyal only to her, not to any of her servants or subjects. Sounds like we are not the only ones bored of the Royal Council. Let us support the disgruntled nobles, and Cousin Galfrey's advisors will have too much on their plate to worry about us. I say we don't get involved in someone else's squabble, and just to make it clear, we'll write a public statement to the people of Mendev that will have the commander plainly say, "Your bickering is not my problem. Leave me alone." Both the council and the aristocrats want to stop us supporting their opponent, right? Well, let's just get a payoff from both for not messing with their business. That way we'll come out with a little something, and we don't ruffle anyone's feathers. That's a lot of degrees. Not too shabby, although it costs 2,000 finance points. Yeah, nah. Definitely not. Headhunters? That's 24 to 29. Yeah, the marksmen are better. Slingers? Seriously? I don't feel like going against the Queen. Social. Inform the Queen that we remain loyal to her, but that we are being dragged into an intrigue. I hope our actions will remind the rest that we must all remain loyal to the crown and not worry about the kingdom. And worry about the kingdom, not about personal profit. This meeting is adjourned, but I am certain that the Crusade will soon require another decision from the Diplomatic Council. And before that happens, Commander, I ask that you consider whether or not it's worth losing the Royal Council as an ally. Considering your ethics, I should think so. There is... Yep, we need to talk to Irabeth, who, handily enough, is here. I have taken care of the dragon that was attacking our patrols. That's one less problem to contend with. Now we can take the extra lookouts off dragon duty and reassign them to more useful tasks. Excellent work, Commander. Thank you. I should probably give her her sword. Yep. Give the solemn hour to Irabeth. I have found your father's sword. Take it. Praise Iomade. Irabeth takes the sword as gently as if it were a living creature and sheathes it in the scabbard. I don't know what to say. I am forever indebted to you. I never thought I'd get my sword back. Please allow me to reward you, and please, no objections. I could never replace this sword. I shall never part with it again, I swear. 50,000 gold coins. Well, I knew we were going to get that, but that is a lot of money for her to have, considering we have 159,000. Final thing we should do is probably to take a quick rest so that we are ready for next episode without having to bother with taking that rest in the beginning of the episode. Which will probably trigger more council interactions, but...
People excel at forgetting their own. Forgetting people like us under the ground. Or you freezing outside their window.
It's not their fault. Who can think of another's pain when they're hurting and afraid all the time?
Ah, perfect. It did not trigger any more interactions with the council. Well, then I think we will wrap up this episode here. So, if you have any questions and or comments, or just want to leave an emoji or something for the YouTube algorithm gods in the comment section, then please feel free to do so. For now, I hope that you enjoyed the episode and that you will join me in the next one as well.